City of Forest Park City Council meeting number 1421. Today is September the 18th. It is now 7:01. We're going to start by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, item number 1 on the agenda is roll call. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Adams. Brown.
Here.
Clark. Here. Harrison.
Here.
Holt. Moore.
Here.
Sylvester.
All right, I need a motion to excuse First Vice Mayor Holt.
Make a motion to excuse Vice Mayor Holt.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, let it be known by the sound of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 2 on the agenda is the minutes. Has everyone received the minutes? And are there any changes or corrections to be made? All right, hearing none. That concludes item number 2. Item number 3 is presentations, and we do not have any presentation at this point. But Don, for the next council meeting, please make all attempts to find another good business that we can recognize. I mean, even after the event Saturday, I think that would be something to consider as well, too. All right, and that concludes item number 3, presentations. Item number 4 is communications from the public. Doesn't look like we have anyone here today, but just for general purposes, this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. So when recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription, and comments are limited to 5 minutes. So please, now would be the time to address council, and not on social media, but we leave that open for residents at any point in time. So we're going to skip number 4, move on to item number 5, which is reports for standing committees. We're going to start with council member number Adams.
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Very excited to be here after our summer break. The Beautification Committee is still, we still have our open invite to anyone that would like to join our commission. We are very active. We have a great group, and we are wanting new members. So please consider the Beautification Committee. Also, too, Mayor, I'd like to tell you a little bit about, just very briefly, since we've been on break, I've had an amazing time being able to participate in all the amazing things our city has been doing, from the movie night, food truck night, the health fair, the parade, and then also the homecoming parade, the Black Family Reunion Parade, and just being out in the community and just engaging with our amazing city residents. If we are going to consider or have a business of the week, I would like to recommend a business, if I may. That business being the Jazz Spoon. Had an opportunity to go there on Northland Boulevard. Had an amazing time. The service was superb. The vibe was excellent. And so that is just something to consider if we can. If you are watching and listening today or tonight rather, and you have not been to the Jazz Spoon and you are looking for an adult time, I encourage you to patronize. So thank you. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Adams. And I don't have any work session items for you. Would you like to add any?
Yes, sir. I would like to add a work session item. I would like to ask if we could please have some formal conversations and or presentation on the marketing of the City of Forest Park, as there has been a lot of discussion amongst us as a whole about rebranding our city. And I would like to know what that progressive agenda kind of looks like and where we are and what we're doing and what we're going. And also to, as council, what else can we do to support those efforts, if that is at all possible. We are a city with purpose, and I'm just want to make sure that, you know, we have that plan in place.
Okay.
Have a report on that. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Adams. Moving on to Councilmember Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a report, but piggybacking on Counselor Adams, it has been a very, very, very good time in this great city. We've had a number of different events for the community. It's been really nice to see community members come out. It was Warrior Nation Pride over the past weekend for homecoming, and that was a really, really good time. You saw so many neighbors coming out and talking with each other that they probably hadn't talked to in some months. So it was really great opportunity to have that. We celebrated one of our very dear pastors, of course, with her 10th anniversary, Pastor Kabamba, and presented her with a proclamation from the city, and it was beautiful, very touching to see the impacts that she's made in the city of Forest Park. So Dr. Kabamba is the pastor of United Forest Chapel.
Yeah.
Forest Chapel United Methodist. She's going to get me for that. And it was a really, really good gathering, great experience. And then I had a community block party this past weekend as well. Great to see so many folks come out, and our firefighters and service folks. And I think our team and the department as a whole has done a very, very good job in putting on all these events, and all the work that's gone behind it has not gone unnoticed. I want to say sincerely thank you for that work.
All right. Thank you for that, Councilmember Clark. And I do not have any work session items for you. Would you like to add any?
Yes, some time ago I requested an economic development meeting to happen. I think that was maybe July. And I think that we're desperately in need of having some, very thorough updates. And also would like to know what the what our search is yielding. There's been a few inquiries, and I'd like to know where we are on those.
Okay, thank you for that, Councilmember Clark. Moving on to Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So to the good residents of Forest Park, I'd like to encourage anybody who's looking for a volunteer opportunity. Waycross Community Media is looking for volunteers. You can learn to run the switchboard, run a camera. You can want to produce your own TV show. You can do that down there. So they're located on Waycross, just south of Sebring. And they're always looking for volunteers. I speak from experience. I volunteered when I was in high school many years ago. So if you ever go to visit, you pull out some of those old tapes, you can see me behind the cameras videotaping Green Hills or Forest Park High School football game back then. Also, too, I'd like to thank our city manager and our city engineers, because we do have new speed cushions on Waycross Road. So if you haven't had the luxury of going over them, because we know sometimes the residents have expressed concern about the speed up and down Waycross. These speed cushions are found on Waycross between Otter Creek and Mill. Okay, so they just went up last week. I know I was coming home the other night and I saw the sign. Then the next day I saw one. Then when I came home Friday, I was deliberate just to see, like, they're there and they work. Okay, so but to our residents who live on Waycross and other parts of the city, your voices are being heard. This was brought up several months ago. Now we're seeing movement in action, so we're just thankful for that. Also, for this Wednesday, the Civil Service Commission meeting is canceled. Okay, so if there's anybody listening who's on the Civil Service Commission, there will not be a meeting this Wednesday. It will be rescheduled, so please check your emails. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Harrison. And I do not have any work session items for you. Would you like to add any?
Maybe just one request now. Talk to some of the residents who live on Kenshire and Cara Hill. During the school day, the roads, people travel up and down those roads kind of fast. You have kids walking to and from school. And maybe if I know that mobile speed sign, if it could, just make its way over there, or even, if our police could just, sit a car up there, because cars are going up and down too fast, and you have the buses and whatnot. So really just thinking about safety of our children.
And what streets were those again?
Kenshire and Cara Hill. Yeah, because in the mornings, the entrance to the park is closed. So they have to come up Kenshire, go up Kenshire, then Cara Hill, then they make their way to Kemper to enter into the schools. So and for the middle school, they're usually walking around 7:15. High school's a little bit later in the morning, but, and then you still have some waiting on the buses after that, but cars are just moving too fast. Okay, and I don't know why people are in a rush to get somewhere. I know they're dropping their kids off maybe, but they're going too fast. It's a 25, but people are going 50.
Right.
I've seen cars going up Kenshire side by side, and it's not that big of a street.
Right.
So, if the police could, like I said, sit a car or even just put the sign, the mobile sign up, just to say, like, hey, slow down, that'd be nice. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Harrison.
Mhm.
Moving on to Second Vice Mayor Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to acknowledge our city manager and our staff. We've had some great programming this summer. I really enjoyed the movie night, just seeing the families and spending time with the families out at the movie night. So I thought it was a huge success. Also, I want to just remind our residents that we have a summer fitness series every Saturday from 9 to 10. So please come out. We are have a couple of more sessions before the weather change, so we encourage our residents to come out. We have a great time. It's from 9 a.m. to 10. It's on the basketball court every Saturday. Also, if you haven't driven by Northland, the library has a structure up. And so just drive by there, and so we're excited that they're starting to frame it, and so we're just excited for our community.
All right. Thank you for that, Dr. Moore. And I have 2 work session items for you. Would you like to add any other?
Yes, if we can start the conversation of increasing our Quality of Life Commission to 9 members.
Right. Remember, we are supposed to do that. Thank you for that. All right, and then moving on to Councilmember Sylvester.
Excuse me. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do not have a formal report, but would like to just ditto on what has been said from the council members here in regards to the various positive activities and events that the city staff has done for this out of this year and out of this summer. We've had some real positive results. We've had some good positive feedback from our residents. We've seen some smiles on faces, so
Yeah.
people like to know that they are getting a bit of return on their investment. So
Right.
it was a successful, and so we want to thank our city staff for the fine work that they've done. Other than that, no additional comments.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. And I have no work session items for you. Would you like to add any?
Just a simple update on what has been done in our road improvements and where we stand with anything else that's remaining.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, road improvement discussion. All right, and that concludes item number 5 on the agenda, which is reports from standing committees. Moving on to item number 6, which is the mayor's report. Well, we are back. We had a long and eventful summer. It is good to see everybody's face. It is good to get out in the summer. So to echo everyone's sentiments, we've had a lot of programming, and residents have noticed. So I would also like to thank our residents for coming out to not only our various food truck rallies and the salsa night, and as well as our movie night and our bike event, but I would also like to thank our Parks and Recreation Department and council for pushing the fact that we needed to be marketing a lot more. And I've noticed that our Parks and Recreation Department took that into consideration. So there's a lot of signs, especially on Winton, there's signage on Mill, and residents have responded to that. They say they notice the signs, they say they notice the activities, and then they come out. And not only our residents, but surrounding communities notice that. So we want people to know that we hear you. We are being responsive. To echo Councilmember Harrison's sentiments earlier, there are speed cushions out. I've slowed down myself. I take that route frequently, but those are the first of many speed cushions coming to our neighborhood, because we hear you when it comes to our street safety, our kids traveling to school safety. We take that incredibly seriously. So there'll be a few more speed cushions, but we're not done yet. The next event will be in October. I think it's about 2 weeks away. So it's October 7th will be our very popular Harvest Fest. So I want residents to get this on their calendars. It'll be Saturday, October 7th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be crafts, more food trucks, hot chocolate and cider, so I think that'll be really good. And then, are we doing the chili cook-off this time, Don? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna dominate it again. Okay, so we'll have that chili cook-off, and then our city manager says he'll dominate it, but but I encourage residents to come out, bring their kids out to that, and I encourage residents who are really good chefs to come out and show Don up in that chili contest. But also want to thank our Winton Woods School District for inviting us to their homecoming parade. Every year that is a tremendous turnout, so we thank our residents for coming out and participating. A lot of candy was thrown out, a lot of smiles, a lot of good times were had. We appreciate the patience of our neighbors who as traffic is diverted as we celebrate. But just getting off the truck, walking around, when I spoke to a few residents, they noted the fact that we have had a lot of programming over the summer, and they really appreciate that. So I think that's something that we can all pat ourselves on the back as council just for pushing and promoting that, and city staff and the administration as well. And also, I would like to recognize that I did attend the birthday celebration of another one of our long-term pastors, Bishop Bobby Hilton. He's head of Word of Deliverance Church. He was celebrating his 65th birthday, so happy birthday to him. And it was actually very well attended. A lot of elected officials from across the county were there, and it just was a very good celebration. Food was delicious as well. And with that, I only have 2 things to add to the work session item. So I want to discuss the RAISE grant. It's a federal grant. We had discussed it before once I had attended the African American Mayors Association conference in D.C. So I wanted to know the status of our RAISE grant application, but I also wanted to mention that the Ohio Municipal League is having a training for municipalities on September 29th. So Ms. Bailey, if you would make a note that we need to register for that training, because it'll just help anyone who is going over that application process. But we are pursuing federal grant opportunities. And then next, I did want to have a conversation about businesses in Forest Park and them having activities on their premises, but as that relates to city's response and city services. So we'll discuss that as well. And with that, I'll have if anyone has any questions. If not, I will conclude my report, and then we can move on to item number 7, which is the city manager report. Don?
Well, it is good to be back, and good to see everyone again. But I do want to remind everyone about the speed bumps. They're only on Waycross right now, but it is, or excuse me, speed cushions. But we are ordering others, and they will be placed strategically throughout the city to try and slow traffic down and make our citizens safe, and particularly our kids, make them safe. A bicyclist was just struck there literally about 2 weeks ago on Waycross in the morning and severely injured. So we need to slow down traffic, and this is the first attempt. The next set of these I believe, are going to be going in by Central Park. There's a lot of speeding along that road as well. After folks picking up their kids. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're picking up your kids, or your kids are leaving school, remind them that the speed limit, I think, is only like 15 miles an hour through there, and there's lots of people, lots of small kids, and they need to slow down as they drive through there at all times of the day because of the park. Right. But we're going to put some speed bumps there to remind folks to slow down. And next set I want to talk about is our the road projects that are ongoing. Everybody can see them. Winton and Kemper, they're closing in. They're putting in the bus pads right now. Once they put in the bus pads and fix the corners, there's a couple corners they have to fix for disabled ramps and things like that. But once those are finished, which should be very quickly, the final course of asphalt, there is another 1 inch or 1.5 inches of asphalt that's going to go over the top of that. So that road's not finished yet, but it's still pretty nice. It's about to get a little bit better. So once they put all of the bus pads in, they're in concrete. We'll put in the final course of asphalt, and those 2 roads will be finished, and we'll get ready to start the rest of them. The interior streets, they're pretty much finished as well. Lincolnshire, Smiley, Flagler, if you live on those streets. hopefully those are greatly improved from where they were as well. So, and then we're getting ready to do Ken, and not Kinshire. Getting ready to do part of Ken, and we did just recently get notified that we received a grant for Sharon Road as well, down by the Winton, Winton Golf Course down through there. A doors and down that direction toward Mill. It's really bad down through there, so.
I go that way
Bumpy.
sometimes,
So
yeah.
we've got a grant for that, so look forward to that coming up next year. I think it's next year. It should be in the,
Top of the list.
well, I think it is. I think the grant's for next year. But anyway, we did receive that. So that's all good news. And keep an eye out for our e-newsletter. Remind everyone, if you want to, we're trying to get as many subscribers to our e-newsletter. We've got about 2,600 right now. Just go to our website, click on it. There's a button there. You can go and follow it and just give us your email address, and we'll be glad to put you on the list. And finally, I want to remind everyone that this is September is Suicide Awareness Month, and remind everyone that there are a lot of programs out there, and we'll be talking about it. We'll get it out in our newsletter, as well as I'll be talking about it on our podcast on Wednesday. But a lot of help here in the community, so if you think you need it, if you know someone who might need some help, don't be afraid to go out, because mental health is health, and I thought that was a pretty good statement.
Yes.
But also, and along those same lines, we're having the Drug Treatment and Recovery Court. We're hosting them this Friday, September 22nd, at our senior center, and that'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you want to have, it's really going to talk about a lot of the resources that are available for drug treatment and folks that are looking to recover. And so if you know someone, or if you're interested, or if you need it yourself, come on out, take a look. It's an opportunity to bring those services out from downtown, bring them out to the county and let people see them, have more access to them. So we're hosting this. It's the first one of the year, or the first one for the drug court, so we're happy to be the first one on their list. And we're proud to be able to offer this to our community as a way to see how the drug court works, and to see what resources and services are available at the county. So again, that's September 22nd. That's Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There'll be some food trucks there, lots of services, free food. So come on out, and if you, even if you're just curious about what services are available, just come on out and learn a little bit about this situation. So that's all I have to say for this evening.
All right, thank you for that, Don. Does anybody have any questions for our city manager, his report? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to item number 8, which is our other reports. We're going to start with our law director, Mr. John Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since our last meeting several weeks ago, there's been some activities, starting with the tax department. I made a recommendation regarding the penalty provisions, which will be found in the amended, or proposed amendment tonight. I also have presented to our city manager some suggestions of how to deal with junk and abandoned vehicles, and we'll be working on that over the next several weeks. Also, at the city manager's request, looked into the basis for a taxpayer's suit and how something such as that would proceed. I don't think one has proceeded, has it? Okay. Also looked at an issue regarding J8 development and trying to work out the title search, and I don't know if they ever worked with you on that, Don, either. A lot of hanging chads, I guess. Yeah. I reviewed the proposed amendment to the flock agreement. That was for the police department.
Right.
And if there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer, but that would be the end of my report.
All right, thank you for that, John. Does anybody have any questions for our law director? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to our clerk of council, Ms. Takia Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance numbers 40-2023 through 42-2023 and resolution number 36-2023 were posted as required, and that concludes my report.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. Moving on to item number 9, which is unfinished business and general orders, and I need a motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the second time by title only ordinances numbers 37-2023 and 39-2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Just that these have been posted 6 days prior to this meeting.
All right, thank you for that. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 6-0. All right, will the clerk please read ordinance number 37-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 37-2023, an ordinance adding a new section 30.15 entitled Indigent Burials to the general provisions section of the Forest Park Code of Ordinances and adopting an indigent burial policy.
Thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. I move that we adopt ordinance number 37-2023.
Second?
It has been moved and properly seconded. This is just that we have an indigent burials policy that puts us in compliance with the relevant state law. And with that, I would urge adoption. So, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
All right. Ordinance number 37-2023 passes 6-0. Moving on to ordinance number 39-2023. Will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 39-2023, an ordinance establishing the City of Forest Park Project Reach Fund.
All right. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Motion that let me ask this question prior, because I'm seeing this statement here. So we need to do a motion to amend ordinance number 39-2023 to add in the title and declaring an emergency, and to add as section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the peace, health, and safety and welfare of the city of Forest Park, and that there is the need to maintain the financial stability of the city. This ordinance shall be in full force and take effect from and after this passage.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance support the Project Reach Health Fund.
Mm-hmm.
And just for clarity, Don, this would also establish the line item in the budget. that,
The line, yes, the line item is established in the budget. This will allow the fund to
funds
be created.
Yeah,
And then the appropriations ordinance would establish it in the budget. By putting in the emergency clause, this will allow us to make expenditures and to proceed immediately
Immediately, yes.
with the spending of the funds and to draw down and accomplish the goals of the fund.
okay. With that and the supporting comments from our city manager, I move we adopt ordinance number 39-2023.
Well, adopt the amendments, correct?
Adopt the amendment.
You have to do a roll call on the amendments first.
Right. All right. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
This is just the roll on the amendment.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
amendments, right.
Okay. Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right. Motion to amend ordinance number 39-2023 passes 6-0. Now, is there a motion to adopt?
Motion that we adopt ordinance number 39-2023.
Second?
All right. It has been moved and properly seconded to adopt ordinance number 39-2023 as amended. Is there any further discussion?
No further discussion.
All right. Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance as amended?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
All right. So ordinance number 39-2023 passes 6-0. And that concludes unfinished business. Moving on to item number 10 on the agenda, which is new business. And I'm going to need another motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the first time ordinance numbers 40-2023 through 42-2023 by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
These ordinances were posted 6 days prior to this meeting.
All right, thank you for that. Councilmember Clark,
You're welcome.
will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison.
Yes.
All right, motion to suspend passes 6-0. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 40-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 40-2023, an ordinance amending Chapter 91, Income Tax of the City of Forest Park Code of Ordinances regarding income tax and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion ordinance number 40-2023.
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
This ordinance include all the modifications and additions to current Charter 101 tax ordinance. The purpose of the amendment is to adhere to the revision of Chapter 718 Ohio Revised Code regarding the municipal income taxes.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 40-2023 passes 6-0. Moving on to ordinance number 41-2023. Will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 41-2023, an ordinance amending appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Forest Park, State of Ohio, the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I would motion for ordinance, ordinance number 41-2023.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, on this ordinance, this is about the seventh budget amendment for this 2023 year. Some of the changes that associated with the amendment includes 2 electric cars rentals for inspection and services, and for administration, additional budget for fire department, overtime salaries, and also a missing budget for an office associate number 3 salary, and fund movements from Fund 401 to Fund 327. So with these various changes that have taken place and an ongoing process that is in place, I move that we adopt ordinance number 41-2023.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 41-2023 passes 6-0. Will the clerk please read the next ordinance, 42-2023, by title only?
Ordinance number 42-2023, an ordinance amending the rules and regulation for the administration of the municipal income tax and declaring an emergency.
Thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. I move that we adopt ordinance number 42-2023.
Second?
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? This is really just the ordinance that's paired with ordinance number 40-2023 to put our tax department in compliance with the changes to state law. And with that, I will urge adoption. So if there's no further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison, Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 42-2023 passes 6-0. And I need another motion to suspend.
A motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolution number 36-2023 by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Just that this resolution was posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Thank you for that, council member. All right, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right, motion to suspend passes. Will the clerk please read resolution number 36-2023 by title only?
Resolution number 36-2023, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Oh, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Motion resolution number 36-2023.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this legislation is our certification to the county auditor of our acceptance of the amount determined by our Budget Commission and received from the city inside and outside tax millage. It is a procedural step in the budget process. So with that, motion that we adopt resolution number 36-2023.
All right, thank you for that, council member. Will the clerk please call the roll on call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Harrison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
All right, resolution number 36-2023 passes 6-0. All right, and then is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on this item?
No further discussion.
All right, all those in favor, let it be known by the sound of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes 6-0, and that concludes all the items on the agenda. So is there any other business to come before the body?
I just would like to add real quick, I apologize, I didn't say this when you called me earlier, but 40 West, which is an AAU track team here that's based in Forest Park, has some amazingly talented athletes, and they have sent dozens, over 30 students or children out west to the Junior Olympics. 3 of them
Oh,
came
wow.
back with medals, and I think we should definitely, for presentation purposes, acknowledge them.
Okay, all right, we'll add that to the work session to discuss, and then see if we can get that added to the next council meeting agenda.
Thank you.
All right, is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business to come before the body? Hearing none, this council meeting is adjourned.